Yo, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Homie Hector here, and today we're working once again on this 2003 Acura TL Type S. We got a little bit more work to do on this one. Today we're going to be replacing the radiator or radiator on it. Let's go under the hood, take a look at what we got, and let's get to work. Okay, now if you suspect that you have a coolant leak somewhere in your cooling system, a very good tool to have is a cooling system pressure tester. I have one from Snap-on. It's pretty pricey, but I'll link some cheaper ones that are very good down in the description below, so that if you want to get a cooling system pressure tester, you can use the link to pick one up for yourself. Okay, now all this is a little pump that pumps pressure into the cooling system, and this way, as you pump the pressure up, it allows you to look for leaks around the car while the system is under pressure with the car off.
That's not mine. I'm telling you, baby, that's not mine. I don't even know what this is. This sort of thing ain't my bag, baby.
Now, if you don't have a cooling system pressure tester and you don't feel like investing in one, what you can do is get yourself a Homie Hector leak detector. And all you got to do is start the car up. When the car is running, it's going to pressurize the system, and then you're going to spray around the entire cooling system, spray the hoses, spray the fittings, spray the entire radiator. A very common leak is where the plastic meets the metal on the radiator. And on this one, you guys can see that somebody has already been messing with it. They tried to fix it with JB Weld, but I already found my leak. All I did was start the car, and while the car was running, I went ahead and used the Homie Hector leak detector, sprayed it down, and then I found my leak. Alright, now the very first thing you want to do is drain the radiator. Now, a lot of radiators have a radiator drain cock where you can release the coolant underneath. But if you don't have a radiator drain cock, all you got to do is remove the lower radiator hose and drain it that way. Now, it goes without saying that you have to make sure that the engine is cold so that you don't burn yourself with hot coolant. Quick safety tip for you guys: if you're working at home and you need to jack up your car, make sure you use a good set of jack stands so that you can support your car. Do not go under the car with only the jack supporting your vehicle. Safety first. Okay, working under the car, what I'm going to do first is drain the radiator coolant by removing the drain cock, and then I'm going to remove the lower radiator hose. And I'm just going to use regular plier here. Now, anytime you remove a hose, it's a good idea to twist the hose left and right so that you can break the seal, and it makes it easier to remove. After this, we move up to the top and start working on the top part of the radiator. Okay, up on the top, I just have to remove this plastic cover so that I can access the two 10mm bolts that are holding the radiator in place. I'm also going to remove the upper radiator hose using the same technique here. Twist it and pull it and tuck the radiator hose away so that it's not in the way when you're pulling out the radiator. Also, any other cables that you have, like this cruise control cable, move it out of the way and also tuck it away. So now I'm going to be using a 10mm socket so that I can remove the two upper radiator brackets, and then I'm going to disconnect the electrical harness. There's one for the fan, one for the radiator fan switch, and one more for the fan. We're going to move them out of the way so that this radiator slides up easily. Okay, once you have the electrical harness out of the way, you have two options for removing the radiator. You can remove it with the fans installed on the radiator and try to get it out, but on this design, it's hitting over here on the battery tray, so I would have to remove the battery tray so that I can get it out altogether. Or I can remove this fan, get it out of the way, and then I'll be able to slide this fan to the left, get that out of the way, and then remove the radiator. Whatever works for you, whatever's easier, just get it done. Okay, two 10mm bolts, and this radiator fan comes off just like that, and the same thing for the other one, two 10mm bolts, and it comes right off. Now you can see this radiator had been leaking for a while by looking at this fan and looking at all this coolant residue. And now the radiator is free to come up and out of the car. Just lift it straight up and it's out. Okay, now with the radiator up and out of the car, there is a couple things we're going to have to transfer over to the new radiator, like the sensor and these two little chingaderas on the bottom of the radiator. After that, we just transfer over the fans and then we're good to go. Okay, when putting the radiator back into the car, I went ahead and put it in as an assembly with the fans. I wanted to show you guys a different way to do it. Remember, when it comes to working on cars, there is more than one way to skin a cat. So it doesn't matter if you get it done in 30 minutes or you get it done in an hour. What matters is that you get it done. Okay, once the radiator is in, it's time to bring the electrical connectors back into place. Now there's no way to mix these up. There's one for the fan, one for the coolant fan switch, and another one for the other fan. The radiator hose goes back in, and if you're going to be reusing hose clamps, make sure you put it back in the exact same spot that it came from to prevent any leaks. Now the battery tray goes in, followed by the battery, and then the battery hold down. Now if you don't have a battery hold down, make sure you get one, because you don't want the battery to be bouncing around in there, as that will shorten the battery life. Now remember, when putting the battery terminals back into place, the positive first, and finish off by connecting the negative battery terminal. Okay, now I'm getting ready to top off the coolant, and I was going to put coolant right here in the coolant reservoir, but as you can see from this hose, it looks like this cooling system has been neglected for years. If you take a look inside the bottle, it is just filthy. So what I'm going to do is take a little degreaser and some hot water, clean it up, and a couple minutes later, and a little bit of elbow grease, you can already see it's looking a lot better. Now it's not 100%, but it's better than before, and it's ready to go back into the car. Okay, back under the car. Last thing we gotta do is connect the lower radiator hose, reinstall the hose clamp, and make sure again that it goes back into the same spot to prevent any leaks. And that's it for this one. All I have is a radiator hose. Last thing I gotta do is connect my AC compressor clutch connector that is attached to the radiator fan shroud, and that's it. We're good to go. Okay, now we're ready to top off the coolant. I highly recommend you get one of these spill-free funnels, right around 20 bucks. Check the link in the description. But these funnels come with a bunch of adapters for different makes and models. All you gotta do is find the right one that fits your car, put it on top of the radiator, drop the funnel on top, and fill it up with coolant until you no longer see air bubbles. Now you gotta make sure you have the right coolant. This one is made for a bunch of makes and models. It's full strength, so I mixed 1 gallon of coolant, 1 gallon of water in a 5-gallon bucket. Now what we gotta do is top off the radiator, and you can see how easy it is with the spill-free funnel kit. Check the link in the description, pick one up for yourself, and put it to use. Do it for yourself and save money, or do it for someone else and make money. It pays for itself the first time you use it. Okay, once the coolant settles and you don't see any more air bubbles coming up, it's time to start the car, get the coolant circulating. Now what I like to do is go inside, turn the temperature all the way hot, turn the blower motor on low, and this is just going to get coolant circulating through the heater core and make sure that you get heat out of the vents. Then we're going to rev up the engine until the thermostat opens and the fans come on, and then we're good to go. Okay, the fans came on. I usually like to watch them come on and turn off twice. And then the last thing I want to do is just make sure the thermostat opened up. So I check both hoses, make sure the temperature is where it's got to be, and it is. Now the last thing we're going to do is squeeze the upper radiator hose so we can remove this spill-free funnel. What this is going to do is push a little bit of the coolant up so we can take this funnel without making a mess, remove our little adapter, and reinstall the radiator cap. Good. The last thing we want to do is go inside the vehicle, make sure that we're getting the proper amount of heat from the vents, which should be pretty hot at about 90 degrees. Then we can turn everything off, and that's it. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the like button. Any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, drop them down in the comments section below. And that's it, homies. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Thanks for watching.